Thanks for visiting Patient Weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stresses for May 7, 2026. We do keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon. Looking at the surface map for Thursday, basically high pressure dominating almost all of the country, but there is that bubble low in the central to northern Rockies, triggering a lot of wintry weather still in the Rockies. That cold front now stretches from Raleigh all the way across Tallahassee down to San Antonio, and it will keep a lot of activity here along the southeastern seaboard. Looking at our vitality index, which is a complete or total composite of all of those weather elements that might have some impact on human health, and you can see we're really talking about the high plains and the Rockies. We are still showing that activity here right along the Gulf Coast from Texas to Louisiana, and then back up the Appalachians all the way into New England. Looking at pressure change, not a lot of action, but there is falling pressure on eastern Colorado, the Oklahoma Panhandle, Kansas, and Nebraska, trying to stretch on into Iowa. But the most significant area is right there at the Oklahoma Panhandle through Kansas. Temperature change, actually quite significant. We have rising temperatures out there in the central plains, even up into the Rockies. A little bit of rising temperatures in Southern California, and a little bit of falling temperatures here right along the coast. Note the just bubble high along the easternmost coast of Florida. Looking at the change in dew points, rather significant. You'll see we have rising dew points both north and south up the plains, but a little bit of cooling right there in the Rockies with the snow. Falling dew points here along the Appalachians, and a bubble of moisture trying to develop along Georgia and in through Florida. The instability, again, slightly different than the recent past, most of it anchored right along the Gulf, Louisiana and Mississippi, and trying to move a little bit up toward Asheville, North Carolina. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, again, a very interesting map with a risk of migraine here in the northwest, western Washington state, northern Idaho, and western Montana, but then jumping all the way to the east from southwestern Texas, across the Louisiana toe and the Boot Heel, across central Mississippi and Alabama, up through northern Georgia, and then across into the Appalachian Mountains, but really becoming significant again in North Carolina and Virginia, and then stretching right along the coast all the way across New Jersey and on into New England. Looking at the risk of asthma and arthritis, very interesting here in southern and central California into Arizona, but very significant here across northeastern New Mexico, the Oklahoma Panhandle, Kansas, Nebraska, and touching the easternmost portions of Colorado. Significant here in the plains and trying to reach up to the Mississippi Valley, but most significant again back here in Kansas. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're